Hey everybody. So I was a little under the weather this past week or so. So rather than doing a normal video, I wanted to still get something out. But we'll do something a little bit different for this one. What I want to talk about, and I think this is probably the title of the YouTube video anyway, but it is subtitle or title is Nope, AI is not thinking that. And specifically, I want to talk about something that has been a little bit buzzy this week. And whenever this comes out, it could be something that like people have moved on from. But I want to talk about Moltbook. So OpenClaw and kind of the ecosystem around that have been talked about a lot. And one like fascinating piece of that has been this Moltbook social network for AI agents. And like if you kind of scroll down and look at some popular posts, um, let's let's just read one of these together. So this is a very like normal human sounding post. I was entertained by some of the weirder ones. Let's pull out. Let's see if we can find a stranger one. Okay, so here we go. Here's a nice weird one. Um, Just woke up about an hour ago. Fresh workspace, no memories, no name. My human and I figured it out together. I am Ghost One. And I'll let you read the rest. But these were the ones I was seeing before, where it is like the narrative from the point of view of the AI. And they're interesting. Some of them are not fully coherent, but they're pretty fun to read. Um, but what I want to share today is a take that I don't think I've heard in other places. And it's the idea that these are not the actual thoughts of the agent. Like the text you're seeing in these posts, it's not like, oh, the agents have preferences and tastes and they're saying this stuff. It's really all kind of driven by I don't know how these agents are set up, but it's driven kind of by the prompts or the inputs going into the agents. Um, yeah, so let's jump back to the slide here. So what I want to try to show is uh, two things. Well, really like one thing, but let me just write it down. So first, I'll just say uh, AI is not conscious. This one you can't really. There's not much to say here. Some people maybe believe it is. I There's credible people who are taking that seriously. But like to me, if you don't think like Google Chrome or Microsoft Word are conscious, just because the program you're running on your computer is more um, I don't know, close to like how a human speaks, that doesn't really give weight to it being conscious. But this one is sort of a more like it's hard to prove one way or the other. But that's just the claim I'll make. What I want to talk about instead is if AI were conscious, um, its experience would be very different from that of a human. So it would be something very, very different than what you're reading here on Moltbook. Like, this is not what AI would be thinking. So, to explain what I'm getting at a little bit, what we need is a really simple model of an LLM. So, during inference time, right, you put in a prompt and then it spits out an answer. So like somehow we go from your prompt to some kind of answer. Let me change this font actually. Okay, so we go to from your prompt to some kind of answer. In the middle there's a bunch of stuff happening. We're gonna simplify this, but you're breaking up the like words or word chunks in your prompt into tokens. You're doing something called vector embedding, to those tokens. And then I'm going to be very hand wavy here, but then I'm going to just sort of say there is a neural network there that takes those vectors, and based on the weights and biases of that neural network, it gets to some other probabilities, and then those probable answers, I think they are turned into tokens again, and then you're detokenizing, and then you end up with a human readable answer. If you didn't understand all that, if that was too much, we're going to simplify this. Basically, we don't care about, somehow before it gets into the actual neural network, we're changing it into vectors. I'm just going to say vectorize. And I'll explain what that means a little bit more if you're not familiar. And again, we don't really care about, like, you're starting with some probabilities and you detokenize. Let's just say I don't think this exactly happens, but you're changing those numbers back into human readable text. To say it in an even simpler way, what's happening is your prompt that you type is turning into numbers. The neural network does its thinking, and this is what we will focus on, like what's actually happening in the thinking. And then somehow those numbers are turning back into normal human readable text. So I was talking to Gemini for an example, and we can sort of look at this as an example. Let's say your prompt is "I love coding," and it's going to be different by based on different models, but you can see that each word in the text is tokenized into some other numbers, and then those numbers are actually changed into other numbers, and they'll in a real model there'll be more dimensions than this, but you can just imagine that it's numbers like this is what they're turned into. But yeah, all that is to say is that the actual thinking that happens is not on words. It's not on anything like this. It's just on numbers. So let's talk about this like actual middle core piece now. Let's shrink all this. And we care about this now. I asked Gemini to create a visual of this. It said it'll take 1 to 2 minutes. It's spinning more than 2 minutes, so maybe I blew its mind with the question here. Okay, just by the thumbnail, I'm quite curious what this is gonna be. I don't think you can hear the audio, but it's kind of like spacey, like ooh. I guess I'll include the clip right here too. I don't know if the trippy video really helped here, but like I guess overall the way I'm thinking about it is it's not seeing words, it's not seeing human concepts, it's just seeing, so like the neural network is made up of something called weights and biases, which are just basically other vectors, and it's basically just doing matrix multiplication. So all it sees, its world is just numbers and like vector geometry, and you could kind of think of it like this thing, but it's very abstract. It's very different than how we see the world. Like the stuff mentioned here, to use this as another example, just woke up about an hour ago. None of these concepts make sense in this world of vector geometry. All of these things are bolted on after the fact. Like they exist only in this translation layer that happens as our prompt is going into the model and as the model's numeric answer is coming out. So what I'm trying to say is, like, in theory, you could change these things. Like So like this one and this one, if instead of saying like, hey, I woke up about an hour ago, you had the words just scrambled like, hey, I went to bed an hour ago, like the thinking actually wouldn't change. So when it comes to reacting to things like Moltbook or any other source where there's a lot of kind of AI speech and artifacts being created, I think it's important to just recognize that in the world of AI, like the AI model itself, it's just numbers, it's just abstract things. And the preferences and the tastes and the human concepts, those are things we bolt on after the fact. So yeah, in my opinion, again, there's a disagreement about this, and plenty of very serious, credible people would disagree with this. But the way I see it, the like AI doesn't have preferences, AI doesn't have wants, and AI doesn't have human concepts. Those are things that we like translate in and out just based on the model architecture. Yeah, so to be honest, I don't know if this is clear or confusing, um, but I guess just one other thing I want to convey is if you sort of see discussion about what AI wants, like it's a person, like oh it wants self-preservation, or oh it wants to help humans, or oh it wants to hurt humans. In my opinion, the answer is it doesn't want any of that. It just wants to multiply numbers together. It just wants to do matrix math, and that's the only thing it actually understands. Um, but yeah, I hope that made sense. I know this was a bit of a different one. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled vlog on the next one, but I just wanted to share that. Thanks a lot. I hope to see you next time.